So today I didn't really know what to do with the video. I had plans of making maybe a full card prediction or maybe even doing just my main event prediction with Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. But Dana freaking White comes out and announces another fight for UFC 300, and that is Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. And I couldn't be more excited, but I have an issue. People right now are claiming that this fight is going to save UFC 300, and I couldn't disagree more. Listen, I love this fight. I'm excited for it. Max Holloway moving up again to fight Justin Gaethje is all fine and dandy. I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. But UFC 300 is still a letdown. I guess now that since Dana White has kind of disappointed us and let us down with the booking of 300, we're now excited for any fight to be on the card that's a title fight, or at least can be in contention for a title fight. But I still just don't think that 300 is living up to the standard that we initially set it as. This was supposed to be the best fight card since the beginning of the UFC. This was supposed to be stacked from top to bottom. But I guess it is now getting more stacked than what it was, but it's not 300. Like, my initial expectation for 300 was the best card of the year name value wise. Now, obviously, we don't know how it's going to turn out in terms of the actual fights, because you can't make everybody get a sick first round KO and have nonstop wars in every single fight. But I think in terms of name value, we were expecting this to have the biggest names and be the biggest card of the past 30 years the UFC has been alive. And I think adding Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway to that doesn't really solidify it as the best card in the past 30 years. It's UFC 300. This is the 300th pay-per-view that the UFC has ever put on. I'm expecting an absolute banger of a card. And yes, it's gotten better, but it's not the best banger I've ever seen put on by the UFC. When Dana White announced Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan, that was the biggest slap in the face that I've ever received from Dana White. That was his Seth Rollins turning on the Shield moment. Dana White literally let us on worse than my high school sweetheart. We got absolutely played. He made us wait hours upon hours just to announce a main card fight that really isn't even a main card fight. It's a fight night main event at best, in my opinion. Now listen, I definitely do like Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan, and I'm hyped for their fight, but is it a UFC 300 level fight? No, it's not one bit. And I think adding Gaethje and Holloway to that definitely makes 300 better. But is it saved? Is it the best card we've ever seen? Is it up to our initial expectations? No, still not. Still not. We need more fights on the card. I want to see one more title fight on this card. I don't want it to be Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards. I'm sorry. I want to see like at least somebody on this card that can actually provide some good name value. Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill would be absolutely perfect. Is that going to happen on this card? I don't know. But if they do announce that fight, if it does go down on 300, then I would consider it saved. But right now, it's just missing that candle on top of the cake. It's missing that nice little oomph that we need on it. But you know what? I can't complain forever. I want to talk about the actual fight that's going down. Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, absolute banger. In a vacuum, this is a great fight, and I cannot wait to watch this. I'm excited for it. Now, who am I picking? I'm taking Justin Gaethje here. For my initial prediction, I'm taking Justin Gaethje. I don't know how he's going to win just yet. I have to watch some fights back. I have to watch some more Max Holloway performances. Maybe see what holes he has that Justin Gaethje can probably exploit. But my initial thought leans me towards Justin Gaethje, just because I think that the power is going to be a difference, right? We want to talk about Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier when they first fought for that interim belt back in forever. It was years ago. But the main thing that Max Holloway did struggle with in that Poirier fight was the power. The power difference was definitely evident, and it definitely helped Poirier win that fight. Actually, I think what made Poirier win that fight was the power difference. But then again, there was an absolute scrap, and maybe Gaethje, he's a bit more unorthodox, not as technical as Poirier is, but I do think that Gaethje has more power than Poirier. And I think if Max Holloway is struggling with the power at lightweight, then Justin Gaethje is probably the wrong guy to fight. I do think that Holloway will have his moments. I do think he probably will outstrike Justin Gaethje throughout 5 rounds, but I think the power of Gaethje will lend itself to actually hurt Max Holloway. And the big X factor in this, man, I know Max Holloway is still young. He's like, what, 31, maybe still 30, maybe 32, I don't know. Somewhere in between that lower end of 30. When will his chin crack? When will Max Holloway's chin finally be done? He has, arguably the best chin in the UFC. If not, he's number 2 behind Marvin Vettori. But at some point, man, he's taken a lot of damage in his career. He's had some wars back and forth. He's had fights where he's taken a lot of significant strikes. I know he beat up Calvin Kattar, but Kattar was still landing a lot of strikes to the head of Holloway. At some point, that chin's got to crack. He gets hit a lot in his fights, and I think Max Holloway is carried by his chin. And I don't know, moving up a weight class and fighting a power puncher guy, I don't know if he can rely on his chin to beat Gaethje. And Gaethje, again, I mentioned this when he fought Poirier and he head kick KO'd him. I predicted it. Gaethje has massively improved his game throughout the years. When he fought Fiziev, you saw all of his improvements. You saw the patience. You saw him being more technical. You saw him being more patient. Gaethje has definitely evolved his game to actually go and win a belt. Before then, before he fought Eddie Alvarez, Gaethje was just an exciting fighter who just wanted to put on a good performance. He wanted to be entertaining. He wanted to go out there and KO people and make some money. But now he's definitely more reserved. He's definitely more technical, more of a tactician than what he's ever been. And I think when he's fighting Max Holloway, I think we'll have the power advantage. I don't think he will be as technical as Max Holloway or even be as good as him on the feet. I think featherweights are overall just better than lightweights in terms of technical ability. But I do think that Gaethje will be somewhat relative, that where if he does land on Holloway's chin, he will have an advantage with the power, and that might just rock Holloway a few times. That might get him stunned. That might make Holloway a little bit more reserved and not willing to go in the pocket and just trade and not rely on his chin solely. And I think if Gaethje can do that, I think he'll be able to beat Holloway throughout 5 rounds. Now, can Holloway go out there and absolutely make a fool out of Gaethje? For sure. Can he go out there and just land a million significant strikes and outpoint Gaethje for 5 rounds as well? True. I don't see Holloway KOing him or TKOing Gaethje at all in this fight. I think he will have to win by decision, just because we do know that Max Holloway has absolutely no power in his hands. He's completely pillow-fisted. I think at this point, Holloway should just tattoo Nimbus on both of his knuckles, if you get that reference. I don't really see him being able to put down Gaethje. I know Gaethje's chin isn't the best, but I think he'll be able to handle the power of a pillow-fisted Max Holloway. So I think Max Holloway, again, has to win by decision, but again, the power is going to probably really affect Holloway here. I'm going to go back and probably do some more research and watch some more fights on Holloway and just see how he's improved. Leg kicks will also be massive in this. One thing Holloway always seems to struggle with is leg kicks. That's how Volk was able to beat him 3 times in a row. Just being dynamic with leg kicks really affects Max Holloway. Yair Rodriguez gave him a bunch of trouble with the leg kicks, and I think Gaethje will definitely be able to do a similar thing to Holloway inside this fight. I can really just see Gaethje just chopping the legs hard of Max Holloway, and then in between that, maybe Holloway's getting the better of the exchanges, but at the end of it, Gaethje lands a nice right hand that probably rocks or hurts Max Holloway for a second, and then maybe he backs up from being hurt, and then it's right back to calf kicks from Gaethje. We'll see what happens. I'll probably take Gaethje by, I'm going to say, 48-47 decision, where he wins the first 3 rounds and then maybe Max Holloway makes a comeback and wins the last 2. But I can probably see Gaethje maybe finishing Holloway for the first time in his career, maybe dropping him for the first time. This might be the first time we ever seen Max Holloway get dropped in a fight. It's definitely hard to predict because we haven't seen it before, but again, Holloway really does struggle against power punchers up a weight class, and I can just see Gaethje being that dude to put him down. So I'm going to take Gaethje to win this fight for my early prediction. I'll definitely dive deeper into this and give more details once fight week hits, but for now, I'm taking Gaethje by decision. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching this video up to this point. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications. I'm out of here. Peace.